Today is July 27th. Welcome on in to Daily Cards Live here on ClaibsOnline.com. Brought to you by Royal Banks of Missouri and Munganast St. Louis Acura. I am Joe Roderick, joined alongside by Bob Ramsey and Rammer. It's the first of four against the Cubs tonight. But before that, trade rumors galore, as the LA Times reporting earlier today that a name that could possibly end up at the Dodgers after the trade deadline, Nolan Arenado. And the clicks were flying when they decided to put that on their websites.
There's a great old movie. It's got a little bit about journalism in it. It's a Paul Newman movie, so you'll like it, with Sally Field. You like her. It's called Absence of Malice. And Paul Newman lectures the newspaper. He says, you don't write the truth. You write what you hear, what somebody says. And that's what's going on here. Even worse, I contend the writer knew and currently knows that there was no chance that Nolan would waive his no trade, no chance that there could be a deal between the Dodgers and the Cardinals, yet this jackleg printed it anyway.
I like to play a game when I see this from certain publications and you try to guess who the writer was. And I was shocked to be wrong with when I saw that it was the LA Times and it was not who I thought it would be. I've never heard of the guy who wrote the article, who wrote this. But I think the most telling part of it, Rammer, the part of the article where I believe he said that people who were not allowed to speak on the matter were the ones that told him about that. I think that there, right?
Yeah. So either he's completely fabricating it. Well, there's three choices: completely making it up, because that would be untraceable, as he put it out there. He talked to a beer vendor or somebody that had no knowledge of anything, or somebody in the Dodger organization is a rat fink. Hey, if you ran a club and you saw that, wouldn't you immediately try to find out, hey, who's talking to this jerk?
Yeah.
And you'd fire him.
Right.
So I think probably the first thing is true. He made it all up.
How about this for an option? Just, hey, he's talking to somebody and going, hey, who would you like to have at the trade deadline? Who could you go out and get? And somebody, you know what? Hey, that Nolan Arenado, he's a pretty good third baseman, and I think he would fit in real well in our lineup.
Yeah. I think the way the media has gone, gosh, and it started probably with the OJ chase all those years ago, that for consumers, including me and you, are the consumers who get their media from Daily Cards Live, or some of the great sports writers that cover the Cardinals, or the great talk shows in town at various radio stations. If somebody says something and they can't tell you where they got it, you must assume it's false. Until proven otherwise. You must.
Well, we have a game to talk about tonight. By the way, wait, before we get to the game tonight, before we talk about what is happening tonight at Busch Stadium, first of four, Cubs and Cardinals, the first time the Cubs are in St. Louis, and the only time the Cubs are going to be in St. Louis all year long, because two games happened in London. Those were Cardinal home games over there. So now this is the only series. It's one of the things that's going to happen with the way the schedule is made. Now, I just want to quickly go over and talk about what happened in Detroit earlier today, because remember, we will probably never, it's one of those, we will never see it happen again. I mean, this is, still today.
I'm going to hold you up right there. I think it's the first time it's happened.
Yes.
I bet you it happens again.
By the same guy?
Yeah.
That's how good he is. For it to play out the way that it did, though, I mean, we are talking, for it to happen in a doubleheader, this is levels of 5 home runs in a doubleheader, Stan Musial level of what we're about to talk about. And that is what Shohei Ohtani did today in Detroit. A doubleheader between the Angels and the Tigers, and more on the Angels in a bit. I do want to get to them at the end of our show today. But Shohei Ohtani started the first game on the mound, and for the first time in his career, threw a complete game, not to mention a one-hitter in that complete game with 8 strikeouts.
I was watching it when I should have been talking on the radio. It was spectacular. He was so good.
So he goes out in game 2 of the doubleheader, and he's hit 2 home runs.
Mm-hmm.
which, by the way, now puts him in the lead for the American League with home runs on the on the year. It's with number 38 on the season. Just absolutely unreal. Complete game one hitter in the first game of a doubleheader, 2 home runs in the second game of a doubleheader. I think he has increased his trade value if the Angels decide.
Perhaps. Perhaps.
You're going to have to throw in one more player to be named later if you're going to want to seal the deal on, on bringing Shohei to your organization. So here, by the way, here are the lineups for tonight. It's Cubs Cardinals tonight. Lineups brought to you by Central State Sandwiches. And hey, Central State Sandwiches tomorrow is going to be out at Second Shift Brewing, and their special tomorrow, a handcrafted salmon burger topped with house garlic aioli, mixed greens on a brioche bun. That is tomorrow, Friday, out at Second Shift. It is a Thursday, so that means Central State Sandwiches will be out at Bootleg and Bob's in Tower Grove South, selling sandwiches out there. For the Cardinals, they lead off with Brendan Donovan. He's playing second base tonight. That's right. He is playing. Actually, no, I have him. Yeah, no, he's DHing tonight. I'm sorry. Yeah, the website I have that I'm using for this says second. I apologize for that. Brendan Donovan at DHing tonight. Paul Goldschmidt, he's at first. Nolan Arenado hasn't been traded yet. He's playing third. Wilson Contreras behind the plate, cleaning up. Tyler O'Neill is in left field. Jordan Walker in right field. Nolan Gorman at second. Dylan Carlson is at in center field, and Taylor Motter is at shortstop tonight for the Cardinals. For the Cubs. For the Cubs, Mike Tauchman leads off. Nico Horner is batting second. Ian Happ third. Cody Bellinger, is this one of the final games we see of him in the Cubs lineup? Seiya Suzuki bats fifth. Dansby Swanson is sixth. Christopher Morel seventh. Jan Gomes behind the plate. And Miles Mastrobuoni is batting ninth for the Cubbies. So you say unbelievable. Paul DeJong not in the lineup tonight. A scheduled day off for Paul DeJong. Has not been traded. No move yet on him.
Why? Why a scheduled day off? What? I saw one quote alluding to heat. They were playing in air conditioning.
Yeah.
He can't be tired today. Are you really trying to win every game? Are you really trying to win? I don't think so.
If he has been playing this many games in a row, I mean, he's played the last 2 weeks straight. So,
look, is he tired?
You'd have to ask him.
Well, I would think the manager would. The manager didn't. The manager said it was scheduled.
Yeah.
Hey, if you're tired, if a guy is tired, give him a rest. I'm all for that. If he's not tired, so you got to play your best guy.
I don't know. I'm not down there, Rammer. I don't know. I don't have an answer as to why. I mean, they said was scheduled day rest.
I'm talking to you, but
I know. No, I get that, and I'm letting the listeners know. Yeah, I don't have an answer for it either.
Well, and I'm not mad at Tyler Motter. Taylor Motter. Not mad at him. Hey, he's getting a big league paycheck for another few weeks. Hey, good. I'm all for it. Seems like a good guy and everything. I'm not against him, but the Cardinals have put themselves in a position, and some of it's bad luck with injuries. I get that. Yeah. Some of it's bad luck, but you're not playing your best guys. You got a shortstop that's killing it in AAA. You must be telling me you don't think this guy's a big leaguer. It's the only thing I can figure. I'm talking about Mason Wynn.
Yeah. We have seen a few trades around Major League Baseball continuing on today. The Angels, as you mentioned yesterday, said that Shohei Ohtani off the trade market. They are not going to move him. They are going to play to win. They're going to play to try to get into the postseason. And since doing that now, they're about to go 3-0, though Shohei Ohtani was removed from the game after his second home run. He grabbed his side. Did they say cramped up? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what? He pitched in this heat. I'm sure it's not 70 degrees in Detroit today, so I'm sure it's a little warm up there.
Yeah,
but he pitched the game and then hit 2 home runs. I think he's allowed to cramp up just a little bit if that happens. We're not familiar with how to handle players that are able to do that in one day because it's never been done before. But they went out and got Lucas Giolito and another relief pitcher from the Chicago White Sox who look to be selling. We talked yesterday. Lance Lynn looks to be on the market. And Tim Anderson also is gaining interest from other teams.
I don't get the Lance Lynn thing. I get that there's Cardinal folklore, but he's just not good anymore.
Yeah,
he'll give you a good start once a month.
And yeah, if that's what they need, or maybe putting him in a better team, maybe that would.
Well, the better team doesn't have anything to do with a 7.5 ERA.
I'm just different. Change of venue, change of scenery for some pitchers sometimes helps. I'm just saying they get a guy that they know can throw strikes and strike guys out. Maybe something clicks down the stretch. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there and saying that. So we know that the White Sox are going to heavily be involved in the trade deadline, getting rid of a lot of their guys.
Yeah.
It's right now. I mean, it's sit and wait. If Shohei Ohtani is off the market right now, if he is not there, you're sitting and you're waiting. I don't know who the big chip is that's going to fall at this point. And I think a lot of it has to do with what the Padres decide is the future of their season.
Well, and 2, it sounds like the Cardinals, based on quotes you hear or things that are inferred by them, that they're basically out of the selling market. They love every one of their players. Look at it. Oh, no, we're going to see if we can sign Jack on an 11th hour deal, except they haven't ever said that about Montgomery. But Hicks, we want to keep Hicks. Tyler O'Neill, he's a part of our plan. They like everybody.
Well, Jack Flaherty's had a great Cardinal career, so they want to keep him.
That's been reported.
And I've heard people say that, so they might want to keep him around for years to come. So if you say they are out of they won't be sellers.
Except for Jordan Montgomery, they say they want every one of their guys.
Ryan Helsley has been reported to be tradable, but he's on the 60-day IL right now. I guess it depends on what your definition of sellers is. If they go and they trade Giovanni Gallegos and they find somebody to trade for Ryan Helsley, if they're able to, if they trade Jordan Montgomery, to me that's selling.
Yeah,
to me that's a seller for that. If your definition of selling is trading Nolan Arenado and trading Paul Goldschmidt, then no, they won't be sellers.
Wait a minute, you just went 2 extremes. Isn't there something in the middle? Isn't
Jack Flaherty would be in the middle? Yeah.
Tyler O'Neill and Carlson and Nootbaar and DeYoung.
DeYoung, I think, is a given. Nootbaar, I feel like, would be an extreme. For what the organization thinks of Lars Nootbaar, I think trading him would be seen as being an extreme.
We're talking about 2 different things. I'm talking about the Cardinals suggesting that they love all their guys.
Right.
And so I guess they're not in the market. What I really believe is they're trying to pump up their guys so they can deal some people.
We and you and I talked yesterday about the Tyler O'Neill situation and what his trade value is, what the market would be for him. And I don't think the Cardinals are getting back what they want for him at the August 1st deadline. I think that's something that you get back at the owners' meetings in a big trade then. So that's kind of where I think they fall with moving Tyler O'Neill. Moving a guy like Paul DeYoung, I think that's one of those where, all right, you know what? He's done everything he can do here. We have a shortstop in waiting. We can move on.
Well, you and I are saying that because we're logical people. The Cardinals aren't saying it, and all of their actions to this point deny that.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope we're right, and they're playing smoke and mirrors and trying to play games with reporting and trying to pump up their assets so they can move them out. But everything they're saying is Paul DeYoung is our guy, which he's good. He's okay with me. What'll be interesting is, will they pick up his option in the winter?
One guy that we haven't mentioned yet when we've thrown all these names out there, and I want to get your thoughts on what side it would be on for him, is Dylan Carlson.
And so what's your question?
Where do you put him? Where do you value him? As we threw all those other names out there of who they like or who they won't trade away or what you could get back, what would your feelings be if they traded Dylan Carlson?
Depends on what I get back.
Okay.
Yeah, if I get something good, I'm okay with it. You're gonna have to figure out who your center fielder is, and but other than that, yeah, trade anybody. I don't care, but get a good deal. We got to get a good deal.
Yeah,
I'm not saying you get rid of people. You trade an asset to get assets in return. So depends on what they could get.
Hug Watch 2023 is underway this weekend at Busch Stadium. It's a 4-game series against the Cubs. And wait, we're looking at hugs on both sides. All eyes on Cody Bellinger over in the Cubs dugout this weekend too. See what possibly happens with him and his future there in Chicago.
How do you move him and tell your fans you're trying to compete?
Right.
They're only, is it 4 or 5 games under 500? And 500 could win the division. Probably won't, but you'd be in the hunt. I just don't know how you move him and tell your long-suffering Chicago Cub fans.
No, I 100% agree with you on that. You got a guy who won the NL MVP in 2019 and was the NLCS MVP back in 2018 and seems to have found that again. You sign him to a long-term deal.
Yeah.
And yeah, you build around that after you just spent a lot of money on Dansby Swanson, and you tell your team, hey, you tell your fans, we're going to build around these two and try to get back.
Well, yeah, you got he and Horner and Swanson. Now we got a core. Let's continue to build and compete. That's what I want to hear if I'm a fan.
Yep, absolutely. So we will see what happens this weekend here in St. Louis. It's going to be a hot one. Pack a few extra bottles of water before you head down to Busch tonight, tomorrow, and this weekend for Cubs and Cardinals. And we will be back tomorrow to talk about any other deals that might have been done over the next 24 hours. We're brought to you each and every day by Mungenast St. Louis Acura and also Rammer Royal Banks.
Do a mortgage checkup. Go to Royal Banks of Missouri. Call them 314-212-1500. Find out if your mortgage, your refi, your home equity credit line, everything's in line and you're getting the best deal for yourself. Royal Banks can help you figure that out. It's Royal Banks of Missouri, where better service means better banking.
He is Bob Ramsey. I'm Joe Roderick. This has been another edition of Daily Cards Live right here on ClaibsOnline.com.
At St. Louis Acura, we have over 100 new Acura models and over 160 pre-owned models in stock or on the way in May. Get 4.9% financing for up to 60 months on 2023 Acura MDXs, TLXs, Integras, and RDX models. Or get a certified rate as low as 3.49% on certified TLX and MDX models. And you can earn up to $1,500 in loyalty incentives. St. Louis Acura, better than ever for you.